Okay, here we are. So thanks for joining us for another Unwind Your Mind group. Ricki and I just got back from Chicago. We were up there for a little mini tour and did some gatherings, and now we're back here at the Peace House in Cincinnati, and just continuing to be used by the Spirit. Just give ourselves over to that. So I think we're going to start with a song. You feeling it still? Ride of a Lifetime?
Yeah, you found something else?
No, nothing's come to my mind.
Okay. Alright.
Okay.
Is this an okay spot for me?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Alright. Just
So
direct me.
we'll do a song, and then we'll just have a short meditation after the song.
Okay, good. Can you take my headphones off? I got it. My world is slipping away. There's no place left to go.
Okay, let's have a little meditation now. Okay. So, thanks for coming and for your openness to participate in this again. This is just another opportunity to feel what wants to be healed. It's always just for healing. It's for a real experience of the healing. Someone recently commented to me about these Unwind Your Mind groups, and just noticed that we're not really reading from the book, because this is all based on the book Unwind Your Mind, Back to God, the book that David Hoffmeister, a lot of his teachings are in. And yeah, it isn't really a kind of a reading type of study group. It's really more of a practical application group, which is the essence of what the book is about, where people would come to David with their practical issues and the things that they were really struggling with, their questions. Could be metaphysical questions about the Course, or it could be, I'm dealing with a situation in my life. How do I apply the metaphysics to this particular situation? And yeah, Ricki and I are just here to really hold the space for questions and for expressions and to share from our lives, because our lives are very, I think you could say, radical from the world's perspective, in that we've basically put all of our eggs in one basket. We've said that we want awakening above all else, and nothing else pulls us anymore. We don't really have any ambitions. We don't have any other desires. We're not looking to make money. We're not looking for some kind of romance in the future or special relationship. We're really just saying, God, we're here for you, and please just guide us in our every single action. Every moment of our lives is dedicated to being used as a puppet for the Holy Spirit. And when you give your life over to the Holy Spirit like that, with a full invitation, then you can guarantee that the Holy Spirit will seem to guide us in a way that flushes up emotions that have been repressed and beliefs that have been repressed. The whole ego thought system is buried under the surface of our mind ever since the seeming separation, ever since we bought into the idea that we could be separate from God, which we could say in a linear sense occurred many like thousands of lifetimes ago. And so there's a lot of healing that's required in order to undo all those layers of belief. We often don't really recognize how deep this journey actually goes. It takes a lot of humility, and after a few days on the road with Ricki and I, we were put face to face with some of our deepest darkness, and having to move through it together, and having to just be really authentic and just communicate what we're going through, and be willing to be wrong. We have to keep being willing to be wrong, because if we hold on to one little scrap of rightness, then it just blocks the communication completely. It just gets in the way. And in these relationships that were given by Spirit, like Ricki and I seem to have been put together by the Holy Spirit for the purpose of healing, it accelerates that process of going through the darkness. So yeah, we're just here to really for ourselves. This is for ourselves first and foremost, because it's so healing for us to extend the lessons that we've learned, to share the ideas, and it's an invitation for all of you to open up and be authentic as well, and share what you're going through. This isn't really a place for teaching. We're not really interested in just teaching the ideas or hearing anyone teach. It's actually the teacher, the self, that thinks it knows anything, that needs to be undone. And I'm reminded of that line in the Course. It says, "Resign now as your own teacher, for you have been badly taught." So yeah, it takes a lot of humility to come to that place authentically, where we recognize that I really know nothing. I actually am completely clueless about everything, including the spiritual journey and including the spiritual awakening. And that's the only way the Spirit can lead us, is by coming to Him over and over and over again with an empty mind, with a mind that is like a child. And then we're just shown the steps we need to take for the healing to unfold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, unless you had anything to share, like, we could open up to an expression session.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So the first part of these meetings, is an expression session, as most of you already know, and it's just an opportunity for you to just to really get in touch with what's present now. It's not really about going into the past and trying to like dredge up anything, but if there is something right now that feels really present that you just need to get out of your system, you just want to put it on the altar, then this is just a time for all of us to hold the space and just watch our mind. It's just really for watching our mind and not attempting to fix anything or thinking that there's really even a problem. Expressions are just that. They're just an expression. They're just a bunch of thoughts, and we can practice in our mind seeing them and just seeing right through them, looking right through all the thoughts that the ego made to the light that is beyond all of it, and just keeping that light in our awareness full time. So yeah, if anyone has anything that's on their heart that just feels like it needs to come out, then feel free to unmute your microphone and you can express.
Here I am. I guess, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, hi, Louise.
Oh, hi. I am so sorry. This is the first time I've been able to talk because of the technical problems on this thing. I'm so grateful that it's okay tonight. I just want to say I've finally finished the last words from my first read through the book. And I have been really watching my thoughts, and I'm so grateful for the music of Erik and the two young ladies. That music, and the more I listen to it, the more it comes up, and particularly things that I thought I had forgiven in the past, and I'm seeing as things come back up or come up for the first time that there are so many things, and how can one possibly get to all of them? I've started to make a list so I wouldn't forget them. So that's really worrying me. I'm older than a lot of you, and I want to get rid of as much stuff as I can before I transition to wherever I'm going this next time. And the music is just so beautiful. It speaks to me, but it brings that other stuff up too, which I guess is good. But I guess that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you could just mute your microphone again, Louisa. Okay, if anyone else has anything, feel free.
Hi, this is Angela.
Hi, Angela.
Thank you, first of all. Thank you. I felt today, and I was just wondering if it was, I had such a deep thing of that, what you just talked about, the not knowing and watching the mind every time it thought it knew something. Now I'm feeling fear come up. That's good. Just every time I show up, it comes up, so I'm just going to sit in it. And I went from that not knowing, just that incredible thing that every time what would have been a trigger before because I was with my mother, I just kept redirecting to, I don't know that. Any judgment was like, I don't really know that. I don't know if that's true. And it was so wonderful. And then I talked to my son, and the energy I felt was just kind of off. And I don't really know what it was. It was a sadness. And so I just want to expose that too. All of that. And thank you.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you as well for this opportunity. And one of the things that I've noticed is that as I'm going through any day, there are times that I'll be very much attuned to watching my thoughts, and then I forget. Thereafter, I either driving or just dealing with a client in my business, I can completely just get into the normal routine of what I've been doing for a long time. And up come things like fear or just concern over business things. And but there's also throughout the day holy instants when I'm looking at someone and I'm realizing suddenly this is a projection of my own mind, the one mind, and so I can turn that over. I guess what is a little funny, it feels like I've been doing this for a long time, and still, it comes up continuously, and I sometimes wonder if I'm making much progress. So I just wanted to put that out there, because what I'm feeling right now is just kind of, I don't know, not exactly a numbness, but a feeling of sometimes I don't feel that I'm really in touch with spirit all that much.
Hi, my name's Tamara. This is my first time. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, hi, Tamara.
Awesome. Woo. Learning how to do this. I've been listening to a lot of David's YouTube videos. He talks about living life as if it's a fiction, which it is on the level that he speaks of, and he makes it understandable. And I always thought, what would it be like to live life without this tremendous fear that I've had most of my life? What would it be like? And I've had glimpses of that. And I'm starting to feel like I'm doing a little bit of that. And your song at the end, you were singing about what a wild ride it is, and what a fun ride it is. It can be like that. It can be joyful. It can be like being a child. It can be freedom. And part of it is letting go and not judging and not thinking. I feel like I've shed years of stuff. I feel much lighter. And there's less of a need to be a doer. I used to identify myself as a doer. all my art, my jewelry making, how I dressed. That's who I was. And now I don't even identify myself as a mother that much. Today's Mother's Day. And I'm not at all interested in being a perfect mom anymore. In fact, I see myself as, I think being a mom is very limiting. Whereas I'd rather be on a journey with my daughter, I'd rather be on a journey with my husband. That's much huger. That's huge. So I want to say thank you to all of you. In the last few meetings that we've had, I got to listen to you, and you really made such a difference in my life with your sharing. It was really beautiful. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I can share a little bit. It feels like just hearing so far from you guys. I'm just familiar with that sensation that wants to be present all the time. That's what I'm hearing, and not take on the roles and not get lost in fear and not get lost and be more with spirit and just be, when we listen to David's videos and speakers, it's like he's always happy. He's in a constant flow. He's always with spirit, and that's our goal. And yeah, just recently when I was on tour with Erik, I don't know if I so much went through deep darkness. What I actually went through every morning is I woke up seeing where I was compromising, seeing where I was not speaking up when I heard spirit, or afraid to be judged or the bad guy, or where I wanted autonomy and freedom within this life that I've given over. And I would just have these revelations every morning. Oh my God, I've been totally wanting autonomy. I haven't left the world. I've created another world. All these realizations were coming to me, and every morning, like 3 or 4 mornings in a row, and I would just write a letter to David and say, oh my God, I'm a lie. I'm a liar. This isn't just devastating to see all that I was unconscious of, really. So actually, I just got so many calls and notes of love and support saying, you're not the first one to find out they wanted some autonomy on the spiritual journey, and this is what it's all for, seeing the unconscious, seeing what needs to be seen. And it got to the point after seeing all these things that you don't have to do anything but just allow yourself to be awakened. And when these, I'm sharing this with you because there's really nothing you can do, but the desire is in your heart, and do your best. But I just had these moments every morning, and then what happened was, by just seeing it, my life was beginning to transform before my eyes in ways that were undeniable. Like if I was at a gathering and didn't speak when I was to speak, I was literally thinking I was having a heart attack. When I didn't speak what I was hearing, it felt like I was having a panic or a heart attack, which I haven't felt in decades. And there was so much I was looking at, and then I didn't realize this at the time, but again, I wrote to David and Kirsten. I'm like, okay, I'm a liar, and I am having a heart attack. So I don't know what the heck is happening, but should Erik bring me back and just be on this tour by himself, because I'm not okay? And
They're like, oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. Well, after I just explained everything that had happened, they were like, oh my God, you're compromising. And I had been hearing for a couple of weeks loudly from my friends from Spirit, like, Ricki, you're compromising. You're compromising. And there was part of me that almost like felt sorry for myself, like I'm compromising because I don't want to be the bad guy. I don't know what the feeling was, but I didn't get it until I needed to, and my prayer is always, Spirit, make it obvious. Well, it's pretty obvious. My heart feels like it's going to stop if I compromise, and I saw every time that it was. So I just began speaking with Erik, like everything I was feeling, everything. And I think I said today, don't use it against me that I've said everything to you, because I've said everything, because there's nothing I'm starting to see with revealing all this that David and Kirsten told me and that I was sharing with Erik. Like, there's nothing you could hide, even if you wanted to. Like, you start to see in the end that you can't hide, that there's, and I don't fully get the idea yet, but it's obvious. It's like, so now I'm just sharing everything I can think of and everything that I can see, but our guilt is unconscious, so we really, I mean, we're all doing the best we can. I believe that we are where we are, but, you know, I just got to a point in the world almost 4 years ago where I was, you know, I didn't want the corporate world or the music world or the romantic relationship world anymore, and I was ready to leave that behind. And now Spirit has given me new symbols within this community to help me towards my one purpose, which is knowing the truth of who I am, which is love. And these symbols I can see I've become attached to. And in the safety of revealing everything I'm seeing, I'm just willing to let it all go again and watch it, you know, just trust that I'm not going to be dropped on my head. And I've been just given all the support that I need to be non-compromising and to take this step into the even greater unknown. And what it was I was choosing what I wanted to do. I wanted to go on tour and speak and be with, you know, who I wanted to be with. And now that I've opened up my mind to limitlessness, like even on tech, like I can, like, I'm just really just saying, I'll do whatever you ask, Spirit, knowing that all things are done through me by you. And I actually want to experience that I can do absolutely anything if I step back and let Spirit do it through me. And I talked to Erik a day or two ago and told him everything. It was like, well, it was in the car today, actually. And I've been joining with him every day, but every day is a new insight. And he's like, wow, that's such a shift. And I'm like, I know. So just
shift. You didn't like tech. You always, I mean, that was just one part of it, but feeling like you couldn't have anything to do with computers and stuff, and now finding that Spirit's starting to do that stuff through you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and I also realized that pain from past, wanting the past or a past relationship, is healed through present joining. It's fear of present joining, and we're trying to cling to something we had, most of that ended badly, or the situation we're always thinking of somewhere else we can be better. And so I've watched as I've wanted to hang on to the past, that I just dive into the present and all the way. I mean, I'm completely focused on who is in front of me, and in that I'm finding myself being healed. So that when I haven't been in a gathering with Erik, the other 22 hours of the day, I'm in bed or I'm sitting up. I'm like, Spirit, I'm ready to give it all to you. Change my thinking. Help me to change my thinking. It's like there's only so much you can do that. I've made the decision now that I'm not the healer. So all I can do is be in function and follow all the prompts and all the guidance that I'm getting. That's how I will be healed. And so in came in a much more function for me, and I'm grateful. But I tell you what, 3-4 years ago, I would have been like, no way, I'm not doing it. I don't want to go there. I don't want to do those things. There's an openness in my mind that I've never felt before, an expansion, and I'm actually excited. And my mind is not even going to the fear thoughts in the future. It's like, oh, thank you. I just feel supported by the universe to get into this clarity and this non-compromise. And I just hear some of you wanting the same. So for me, it was just seeing the unconscious come up and then praying for it to be healed. However that looks, I'm not the healer in accepting the gifts that are given me, no matter how they feel when they're presented. It was like I did feel a sparkle because I knew that since my mind had changed, the screen would. I knew it. I could feel the shift in my mind, and sure enough, I get a call saying, in a month you're going to go to Canvas and just be full in function. And I was just like, yes, I feel it. I feel it. I have no idea how that looks. Could be tech the whole time. That is huge for me. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, so does anyone else have anything they want to express, or even questions about the material in the book, or questions about the spiritual journey in general? Yeah, it's just really open-ended at this point.
Erik?
Yeah.
I was looking at my lesson. I did have a question, but everybody kind of answered it. I really wanted to listen this time without jumping first. And thank you all. I hear words like journey, that this is a journey. You're doing the best you can by being open, trusted that. Once you do that, it happens, and maybe not be so hard on ourselves. I'm on this one, lesson 107. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. And I've kind of been reading it all day and doing a little meditation. There's a part here that it says, where was it? Oh, okay. Then let him lead you gently to the truth, which will envelop you and give you peace so deep and tranquil that you will return to the familiar world reluctantly. Then it says, and yet you will be glad to look again upon this world, for you will bring with you the promise of the changes. See that part right there, the promise of the changes. I went, oh, I didn't get that till I read it about the third time. The promise of the changes was the truth that goes with you, will carry to the world. And then it says they will increase with every gift, every 5 minutes, and the errors that surround the world will be corrected as you let them be corrected in your mind. Can you speak on that, either one of you? Particularly the part will bring with you the promise of the changes, which the truth that goes with you will carry.
Yeah. Yeah, just that as you go, when you go deeply into those mystical experiences where you seem to completely let go of the belief that you're in this world. The first part there, it says that you will come back reluctantly because the peace in that mystical experience is so profound. And yet, when you do seem to come back and see the world again and start interacting, your mind has gone through a transformation, and so you bring with you that awareness, that powerful awareness of the truth, and that the truth is real. And so it's joyful to extend that. It's like you become more of a living demonstration that the truth is real, and so I think that's what it's referring to, is just that you begin to extend that peace and that joy to everyone, and you can see the effects that it has. It's so great to just keep bringing the illusions in our mind to the truth, and then as they dissolve, the world we perceive it changes to reflect that. We just notice that the world doesn't seem as serious, and that when people come around us, they seem to light up. They seem to be brighter. They seem to gain peace just from being in our presence. And that's what it's all for. It's just that transfer of training, just that seeing that when my mind is healed, that I'm not healed alone. And I've heard David say that the whole journey is really kind of a call to witnesses. It's like we're just calling forth more and more witnesses that our mind is the Christ. And that's how we become convinced of the fact that we are the Christ.
Yeah.
And if you don't get there today has been a rather challenging day, and the weekend, then you forgive yourself. I mean, I use that a lot. I'm forgiven. I'm innocent because I don't get there. I'm problem solving and I'm uncomfortable with it now. I'm very challenged by it. The problem solving, because there's immediate stuff there. Someone's on the floor. Someone's need to eat because they're diabetic. And it's a challenging thing. So I know I'm in practice. I know I'm in the classroom, and I just I have a lot of guilt. I know I have a lot of guilt. Why isn't what I'm doing? What am I doing? All of that stuff. So I find myself in that place. What I'm speaking of?
Yeah.
Uncertainty and trying to, have this, what you just talked about. I mean, yesterday I did have that, and a man ran out of his business to help me across the street, and that was joyous. And there's moments. So, like I said, I keep practicing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we call it mind training. It's like David says, it's a process until it's an instant. But we can't just skip ahead. We have to just be like you said, be gentle with ourselves in the process and just do the best we can in every moment to keep tracing our thoughts back to the truth and giving our thoughts over to the Spirit and being open to inspiration.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My name's Katie.
Hi, Katie.
My first time. But I have been going through some really confusing times, like just frustration. And and I put the blame on like at the full moon or having my period, emotional. And then I get disappointed because I've been reading the book, and the book has been great, and I totally in my mind, like I say yes, 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 that's what I want. But my experience is not there. So, yeah, that's what I want to put on the altar. This is like, I want my experience of peace and joy and light. And I want that, and I do my daily lessons. But I'm getting impatient. That's it.
Yeah, I take that as a good sign.
Me too. I was like, good.
Yeah.
That's
I
good.
think that is a really good. When you start getting impatient, it's just that's like that's the sign of you're just saying, I want this, I want it now. I don't want to delay anymore. I don't want to keep muddling around in time and space. I want to really go for this awakening, and that's great. That's a great, and that will just be, that will be reflected in you'll just find yourself spending more time doing the things that are truly helpful, like listening to talks that are helpful, or meditating, or going, doing worksheets on your emotions, or just whatever it is that the Spirit guides you to do, to start unwinding from all the other things that, all the other things that the ego has told us is important to do in this world. The Spirit's job is to start to unwind us from all of that, so that, basically it's all leading to a place where we're 100% in the Spirit's function, as opposed to, like, 50% doing ego stuff and 50% doing stuff for the Spirit. We're getting impatient about that. So it's leading to just a full immersion, and just, it's good. It's really good.
Yeah, and reading the book is just kind of planting seeds in the mind right now, and they'll take some time to come to fruition, but we're all going to reach a limit where the pain of the ego voice in our head, or however the character is playing out that we're done with, we're all going to reach a point where it's just intolerable. And when you're starting to feel impatient, it's right around the corner. We all have a pain tolerance. Mine was very high. Most of us are. We learned how to stick it out in the world. We learned, and we learned well. And so we're going to unlearn, and that's all there is to it. And it is inevitable, and it's good. All I can say, Katie, is that it's good. I feel that. I feel I've had enough. I hate to say it, but I've never had a shift in my mind from just, usually for me, my major shifts are when I reach an intolerable level of pain, and that's it. It pops at that moment. It's like, enough. And actually there are mystical experiences that let me see, but even those mystical experiences, they're just planting seeds in the mind of truth as well. I mean, like, there is a fact that I'm eternal. I know that now. I know that I'm life and not death, and that I'm loved. But reading the text and all that is a beautiful way to plant seeds, but the healing is in the experience. Just, the practical application David talks about all the time, and you're joining with us. These kind of things where you can really just joining with your brother is the healing, actually. So do that as much as possible with Mighties, and continue reading it. You guys are, I know it sounds horrible when you're impatient. You're doing it, but just you are, and miracles are just going to keep happening. I join you in that.
Yeah, it's like it starts to speed up, huh?
Yeah. Yes.
There's a point in our life when, it's almost like an exponential curve or something, where we gradually start to learn more about spirituality and go deeper and deeper, and then it just starts to increase, like, faster and faster and faster, until we're on this, like, vertical, like, we're shooting straight up to God, and we're just, woo!
Yeah. Ooh, ride of a lifetime.
Yeah, and all you can do is just let go and just go for the ride.
Yeah. Erik, is there a way to ask questions? I've been fooling around with the left-hand side of my screen where it has Q&A.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
but
the
it
Q&A.
doesn't let me type in any questions.
Yeah, you can only type in questions on the Q&A from outside the room when you're watching it, because for people inside the room, you can just talk.
So I can't type anything right now while I'm talking
No,
to you guys.
you could in the chat box, actually, if there's a blue
chat? Okay.
yeah, And above the Q&A, there should be a blue box that says chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can type in stuff
But
there.
your names aren't in there. It doesn't say Erik.
Yeah, it just lists everyone else, because I got, except the one who started the room. But I can see all the chats in there.
I just did some cool effects. I'm at the beach.
I see that. It looks pretty cool.
Isn't that funny? I go to a New Thought church. It's Unity, and they're lovely. I also find myself irritated at the pastor because he's talking about improving yourself, and I'm learning that I don't want to go that way. I just want peace, which I have now. And I've done all that self-improvement stuff. I've taken so many workshops, taken so many spiritual classes for years and years and years. And I find most churches, they do emphasize, gaining more skills and improving yourself. I was just, I guess, forgiveness lesson for me. But I was missing the emphasis on asking my higher self to help me to improve. It was all about me being the teacher. That's what it sounded like to me. I just love that quote, which is resign now as your own teacher. That keeps me humble. But I found I had to tune out a lot of the message of that was being said in that church. And it just seems like when I study the Course in Miracles, it's so different from other spiritual paths. Even the New Thought paths seem to be, they're more into duality. They're moving more into the non-duality, but they're still, like today was all about the Divine Mother and balancing your male and female aspects. And I don't know if this happens to other people, but that's what happens to me lately. I used to feel very comfortable at that church, and now I'm getting bored. So it feels like I'm not learning anything new. And I always need to feel like I'm learning something new that's really going to help me and that I really believe in. And that's what I do find with this group and with the Course. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, the Course is non-compromising. So is David is a very radical teacher. It's like, yeah, I don't actually go to church at all anymore unless we're doing a session. And who is it?
I think, I don't know. Not sure. Can't tell anymore.
Is it me?
Yeah,
Someone's
someone's microphone is on.
I know, I turned it on because I thought I was going to talk, and then somebody else talked first, so I didn't turn it on.
Go ahead, Louise.
Turn it off.
Go ahead and speak now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, the lady that just talked, she mentioned Unity, and I wanted to share an experience I just had with Unity when I went to talk about logistics for the group that I'm going to be facilitating here in the Atlanta area. And I thought that Unity knew about A Course in Miracles, and both the co-minister and the minister didn't know anything about it and were very concerned about my not teaching or facilitating the kinds of things that they believed in. And I'm wondering, I had thought, and I know that our groups often meet at a Unity church, or you have lectures and sessions there, but I just was wondering if this was the norm for Unity, because I thought they were much more aligned with A Course in Miracles than they seem to be here at this particular one. That's it.
Okay.
Oh, Louisa, I'm in the Atlanta area also, so I could get your phone later and we can talk about that. That would be awesome.
Yes.
I go to Unity North in Sandy Springs, in Marietta.
Okay, well that's 100 miles away, but maybe you'll want to come to my group anyway when it starts.
We could do a virtual group in the same virtual group. Yeah,
Sure.
thanks.
Let's talk about that.
You're the neighbor. You're the neighbor. That's awesome.
Not
Great.
quite, but I live way across town and way out east. So, but let's talk later, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Thank you.
And Louisa, if you could just mute your microphone there at the top of the screen.
Yeah, here it goes. Here it goes.
Just gotta move your mouse around. There you go. Yeah, that's great. Thank you guys for bringing that up, because I think that's really important to see that really it's, we seem to go through a progression of stages of awakening, it seems, where there seem to be different levels of teaching. For example, before coming to the course, you may have read Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, or Way of the Peaceful Warrior, or Celestine Prophecy, and these are all beautiful, or Conversations with God. These are like very, very helpful stepping stones that lead from what we could say are dualistic teachings, such as traditional Christianity, which teach that both heaven is real and hell is also real, or good and evil are both equally real, to these kind of intermediate steps which say that really love is real, but that there's this darkness that came from the love, or that the oneness became two in order to experience itself. That would be like it's still dualistic, but it's a little bit closer to non-duality. And even when you get into non-duality, we could say that there are teachings that are like regular non-dualistic teachings, such as Advaita Vedanta. And then the Course is actually pure non-duality, I would say. I would say that it goes even beyond, because even in Advaita Vedanta, which is a beautiful non-dualistic teaching, there's still this sense of the two-ness having come from the oneness, and that they're both valid or real in some sense. And yeah, as we begin to open our mind to pure non-duality, then it's inevitable that that we're going to perceive other people who seem to still believe in these other rungs, and as long as we're triggered by them, as long as we feel any sense of irritation from them, then what it means is that there's still a part of our mind that believes in what they're saying, that still believes in those old ways on an unconscious level, we could say. And yeah, it just takes a really deep willingness to come back into not judging any of the other teachings, but to just see that their helpfulness for those whom they are for. And if we're not getting anything out of them ourselves anymore, then it's just because we're not really meant to. We're not meant to dive into those teachings, and we may not actually be guided to go to those churches or those places, for awakening. And if we are guided to go, it would be just to practice non-judgment, and that would be the only purpose. Because if they're teaching things that are sort of below our level of readiness, if we're already kind of moving beyond the level of those teachings, then the only purpose to go would be to just practice noticing the irritation that arises when they express things that we consciously don't believe anymore. But again, if we do have a trigger, then there's still an unconscious belief, and so it's an opportunity to just go through that with forgiveness and just being very, very humble. And again, I've told this story before, where I was guided to go to a Jehovah's Witnesses church in Europe when I was in Ireland, actually. This was back in 2011, I believe, when my wife at that time, Armel, and I were in Ireland, and we were guided to go to this church. I had a lot of resistance to going because I I just was afraid there would be like conflict, that they would say, well, what do you believe? And then I would say, well, I believe in A Course in Miracles, and this is all an illusion. And then, you know, it would just be this debate, and I really didn't want to get into a debate. But I actually found that it was a really healing experience for me, because I had to go so deep in my mind to see that even A Course in Miracles is just another false belief system. That even the Course ultimately is seen as just another belief system. We could say it's, you know, at a very high theology, like at the top of the ladder, but you have to step off the ladder entirely to go into the full knowledge of God. And so, yeah, all belief systems are ultimately the same in that they're all just stepping stones, and they were all made by the ego, but the Spirit can use all of them to lead us to the state where we don't need beliefs anymore. So yeah, it's just helpful to use those encounters for forgiveness, and just really see if you're actually guided to continue going to those places. And we do have a Q&A app here, so for anyone who's watching on the outside, I think there is a way you can type in questions if you like. You just click on the video.
Yeah, I wouldn't take it too much to heart. What, you know, for some, what Erik just shared is a very last step on the journey, where you would look at Course in Miracles as a false belief system. So where you are right now, it's a trust that Spirit is giving you everything you need for your awakening. And the Course is not for everyone. But for those who have found it and it found you, like for myself, it resonated so much. It was like home to me. It was the truth, you know, after being raised Catholic and not having questions answered. So it was you know, changing from a real false belief system to one that was feeding me truth for the first time in my life. And so there are many ways you can look at that wherever you are on your path, but eventually you give up this course, this world, and come with wholly empty hands unto your God. And that is the truth. But everything that the ego made, the Spirit will use, and because you put your purpose out front, and your prayer is that you know yourself as love, your prayer is to awaken, you can bet that everything that comes your way is given to you for your awakening. Everything. So just wanted to share that. Erik and I don't read the book anymore, but you know, we're in a constant state of like experiencing what the Course, you know, to live the Course. But there were years that we studied the book, years, and then we heard, like, I was in 3 years in Florida, and then I moved to a little apartment in Nashville with my dog under the pretense I was going to go make it famous again. But I didn't leave the apartment. I studied the book and meditated with my dog for 8 hours a day for 6 months, and I was like, I just kept going, I didn't want to leave because I was in such a loving meditative state. But on the other hand, I was like, oh no, no, no. Being given such a gift. I'm going to be used. I had no idea how, and the Spirit led me to, I saw one video with David, a 30-minute video, and I contacted him. And then I went off on a reunion, and 2 weeks later, he's like, okay, come on, come and live. And I mean, I never left. I mean, I'm sure that I would have never lived in a community. I'm just following my path, and it's all, I was ready when I was ready, and yeah, it's just so I do believe that these things will happen for everyone. It's not just for me, and it'll all look different, but that we're all being supported in our awakening. And I just keep saying yes so that I can be shown over and over that if I let Spirit, be in charge, that I'm shown in every day, that in every way and every day, that I can do that. It's safe and that it's everything I want. But you have to keep doing it to be convinced. I mean, I'm convinced all the time, and I still have some doubt when a new thing comes in. Sometimes it's like it's just it's a journey. I mean, it's delightful most of the time now, or I'm like, ooh. Even this past week of my healing, it was like I wasn't like crying or depressed. I was just like, whoa, look what I'm seeing, Erik. It was almost like wonderment, like, whoa, look at me. I've been lying to myself, and really I wasn't. I was just not conscious. So it was like this time it was like, whoa, what a trip. And then only days later, everything changed in my movie to support that shift in the mind. How exciting. I just feel so blessed. I feel so grateful.
Yeah, that seems to be a pattern, like where we go inward, we have a lot of insights, we study, we read, we study, we go in, we get more and more clear, and then life provides us an opportunity which will be like a quantum leap, which will support the continuing of that journey. Like an invitation to go somewhere, where to be around people who will support our awakening even more. Yeah, it seems like it's gone that way the whole time.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I just wanted to attest to that, Erik and Ricki. We were talking last week, and you did mention that, first of all, to stay very open, and that, because I was looking for the next step, and I kept asking, what's the next step? And the important thing that came to me was not to lock down on anything in my own understanding, but rather to stay open and to hear what was going to come through. And you talked about the possibility of that coming through as an invitation. Well, I got my invitation.
Really?
Yeah. Just 2 days ago.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, it was quite amazing. And that's the miracles. They pop. They come. And I recall saying that I didn't feel ready, and I was chicken ass, and just it came through, and a bit mind blowing. But it was like that movie Indiana Jones in the Golden Temple. I think it's that scene where he has to step out. Do you recall that one?
I knew what scene you were going to say. The bridge. He steps.
Yeah, and it's like that. You just got to step out into the nothingness. And but anyway, it came through, and it was really wonderful to hear it to come through. And it was so the request or the opportunity was to go to Spain and to do exactly what you just said, Ricki, to be with the mighties, to be with the people that will support. The desire to really open up and soar, jump out there and fly.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. Are you going to Diva?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yeah.
oh my
That was
God.
the offer. Just,
You are so supported and loved. I can't believe this. Aw.
yeah. And, it's just. It was so funny. First of all, that came in, and then secondly, I turned on the TV and watched this program, and it was like the program was exactly about, it was about these two couples, and they were in their 70s, and they broke up in their 70s, and as it turned out in this case, the two husbands went off with each other, and the two wives had to start their lives again. So, like it was a really crazy event, like the two husbands decide to be a couple.
Yeah.
But it left the two wives in a space where they had to come out of where they were, and step forward. So it was quite amazing that program came on at exactly the same time. So, you were talking about responding to prompts and seeing, listening to the prompts and seeing them come forward, and also to seeing the witnesses that would be drawn forward when you're sort of going in the direction that you need to go in. And yeah, that's what happened. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for sharing. That's so exciting.
Yeah. A ride of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Eek.
Yeah, you're ready. I mean, when you're ready, there's always going to be some nervousness and fear, but we don't call it fear anymore. We call that excitement. Now we changed.
Oh, yeah, it's excitement.
Right? You just don't judge the emotion. Don't label it. It's all just excitement. And yeah, you can feel that underneath, like, oh my God, what have I said yes to? But it's excitement. You couldn't stand still anymore. I heard you last time we were on. It was like, that's the impatience that Katie was talking about. It's like if the fear's too high, it's not gonna come. But when you need something to survive, like I always would say, I need it to survive. I just, help me, God. I need something else. Please don't. I mean, it was like what, a month or two ago. I was looking in the mirror and I was like, please don't let me have a boring awakening. Oh, watch what you asked for, honey. I think I just felt like, some, a slowdown, and I was just feeling there was nothing really exciting happening. Whoa. Yeah, it's just prepare your heart.
Yeah, so just wanted to say that I really appreciated the guidance, obviously, that was coming through, and thank you.
Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, we're all put together for a reason. We never know why, and even if it's just one word or sentence that touches somebody, even if somebody says, this is so not for me, whatever it is, it's always perfect.
I'm very impressed how we can sit together in silence. I think that's a very comfortable friendship. I mean, who can you really sit together in silence with? I think a lot of couples who have been married for years are not able to sit together in silence. And yet we do that so easily. Just amazed by that. Thank you.
It makes me laugh so hard because you would be surprised at how much that happens where we go. But yeah, it's always uncomfortable at first, except for Erik, who would always sit in silence when I first met him. He was going through a meditation phase. But yeah, you'd be surprised how easy it becomes, how natural.
Yeah, it definitely flushes up stuff. Even for me, I see now that when it's silent for a long time, the ego just starts to talk. It goes, okay, what next? What next? Like, okay, what? Something should be happening. Shouldn't something be said now? You know, yeah, it's good practice to just watch that and wait until you actually feel inspired to say something,
Yeah.
or wait until someone else says something. Doesn't. Yeah.
Well, it's a huge practice. It's been a huge one for me. Who, when I first got to community 4 years ago, Justin told me that I would fall asleep talking like that. So a huge transformation you are seeing.
He said you talked so much that you would
He
fall
said I
asleep
talked
talking.
so much that I would fall asleep talking.
That's why we were paired together.
That's why we were paired together.
Hmm. Well, we got about 10 minutes left, 9 minutes now. Does anybody have any last minute things they just want to express or get clarity about? Otherwise, we can just sit in silence together.
Or you could do a song, Eric.
I could do a song too.
This is Michael. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just would like to put on the altar that it feels nice for a change. I've noticed that the past 4 or 5 days to just be grateful for not really having so many questions. And I think that even though on one side it's going to be a lifelong thing to be asking questions to deepen our understanding, it's nice to have this this shift where the ego is just subsided to some degree to where it feels consistently peaceful, and that's happened for extended periods of time with me, but not really to the extent that it's happening at this point. So I'm very grateful for that, and just wanted to place that out there. That's it. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
God, thanks so much.
Yeah. And I used to get so frustrated, but in a good way, when I would go to David's talks in the beginning and I had all these metaphysical questions and I would ask my questions, and it never seemed like he really answered my questions. He would always like speak to me, and it was almost like he was speaking through my questions. And yeah, I just started more and more realizing that the questions were just being undone. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always say just bask in these times of the peace in the mind. You know, it's just, it makes it so worth it when you're just in that, when it seems a bit consistent, like, oh my God, I'm happy, I've been happy and at peace for days now.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I heard a song on the radio during one of those periods, and I think the line was something along, something has to happen because things are going too well. I think it was Nickelback. If you ever hear that song, you'll laugh next time you hear it. I don't listen to the radio that much, especially I don't listen to the radio that much, so when things like that happen, I just crack up because it's the Holy Spirit using the dream.
I like your shirt, Eric. Teach only love.
Yeah. We found this here at the Peace House. Someone left it. Yep.
It takes guts for a guy to wear that.
Yeah.
I put that on the bottom of all my emails. like a
Ah.
signature, and that way I can't send nasty emails anymore.
Mm. Yeah, that's right. You gotta walk your talk. Mm. Okay, well maybe did you have any in mind, or should
No,
I
I feel
go
to
on for?
close it with you doing a song.
Okay, great.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Good. All right. Let's change this setting here to studio mode. All right, I'm feeling to do Heaven is Perfect. This is a song that came through me a few years ago, and yeah, just Heaven is Perfect. Heaven is perfect. Heaven is perfect right now. Heaven is perfect, and heaven is here right now. Everything else that I seem to see doesn't really matter, 'cause it's got no reality. All I really want is to remember heaven within. Spirit is perfect, my spirit is perfect right now. Spirit is perfect, spirit is what I am now. Everything else that I seem to be, it doesn't really matter, 'cause it's not my reality. All I really want is to remember the spirit I am, and not let fall from grace ever again. I can just relax and listen to your voice, beloved friend. I hear you calling me back to the home I never left, singing heaven is perfect, heaven is perfect right now. Heaven is perfect, heaven is here right now. Everything else that I seem to see doesn't really matter, 'cause it's got no reality. All I really want is to remember heaven within. 'Cause heaven is perfect, heaven is perfect right now. Heaven is perfect, and heaven is here right now. Spirit is perfect, my spirit is perfect right now. Spirit is perfect, and spirit is what I am now. Heaven is perfect, and heaven is here right now. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, Erik. Just before you go, is that song available for download from your site?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And that was the link that you got on one of your emails that you send out, isn't it?
Yeah, acimmusic.org.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. Beautiful song.
Thank you. Happy trails, Will.
Have a great time in Spain.
Have a great time.
Thank you.
Everyone else, see you next week.
Yeah, lots
Bye.
of love.
Love you.
Love you.
Oh,
Thank you, everyone.
thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Katie. Cool.